Welcome back, everybody, to WebDM Plays The Dark Eye Adventures in Aventuria. Last time we met our beautiful cast and crew, our assorted heroes, or more villains from what we kind of discovered as the session went on. These led to some dark stuff in their past, and we're not really that ashamed of it either. But I can't wait to see what more dark things they do in their future. When we last left them, they had gone in the search of a missing village and a cow named Bessie, and had discovered
Yes, the important cow named Bessie.
Important cow, vital cow. And had come across a goblin encampment where they had devised a very good plan, where they were going to sneak upon the goblins, do them a punch in the face, get the cow, and get out. Punching, fighting did incur, and where we left it, you heard a deep voice bellowing from within the cave of something shouting, "Who the fuck is in my cave?" And that is where we left it. So as it is, we'll go back to the top of the round. 2, you still do have that goblin in front of you fighting, but at the sound of that voice, it has sort of, the goblin in front of you seems clearly distracted by this voice, as if it recognizes this voice, and is kind of giving off that body language that they're kind of backing up a little bit.
Okay. And that, seeing the goblin backing up, and also, if I remember rightly, I wasn't the only one engaged with the goblin. Anyway, he thought his mother was fighting him from behind, if I remember rightly, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So 2 is no longer concerned with the goblin. He just basically turns away from the goblin down the cave and yells, "Turangi eta Kiowa, who the fuck's in the cave?" Like that.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Okay, is there an intimidation? There is an intimidations check. If you would do that for me. But I'm sure 2's got this. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they all pass, which means that gives me 3 quality levels. It's my lucky dice.
Quality
I was
levels.
smashing it out last time too.
Wow.
There you go.
And one more time, because it sounds fucking awesome. Can we have 2's full name?
Yeah, Tuarangi eta Kiowa, like that.
Fuck yeah, that's radical.
And then he spits violently, like, you know.
Yeah. The goblin in front of you literally shits his pants as he hears this. I'm not going to make him... Yeah, that was such a good roll. You can smell it. You hear it. As this goblin in front of you has an extremely bad time. And you don't hear a response from this cave just yet. As Big Boy, or BB, as he is in my initiative thing, isn't going yet. Which will take us to Garion.
So the goblins are still alive and kicking. Might sound too generous for them, but they're still around. Yeah, they're still a threat.
They're still up.
All right. So I think Garion doesn't really have a lot of tricks. He doesn't do magic. He's not particularly, what you'd call intimidating, I guess, at least not purposely. So he's just gonna hit this thing with its sword. See how he does.
Do it.
Oh, I did not need to roll to those. So the first one is rolled was 13. I kind of like that we don't have to roll the 3 dice for combat. It's just the 1. So that's that's a hit.
Okay, I'm gonna rule that because, again, like this other goblin, but at the sound of this voice from the cave, combined with 2's battle cry in return, has made this goblin completely distracted and is not ready to parry or block this attack. So you just come in and clock it. What damage are you doing to the goblin today?
7 points of damage.
Ooh. Okay, let me have a look here. This goblin is in trouble. He is cut up. You can see like this black blood just oozing out of him in all the places where you've come at him with your sword. And he's kind of like hunched over and holding his chest as he's looking at you. And there's that little bit of anime blood coming out of his mouth as he's looking at you with his eyes. And there's almost like a why in his eyes as he looks at you.
You stole a cow.
and you killed some human and are eating the
There's
humans
that. They are
you were
eating
at.
people. Right.
There is
But-
literally that human arm on the screen.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
So now we
Yeah.
have the smell of roasting flesh and poop in the atmosphere, as
In
well
a
as
swamp.
as well as our amazing perfumes that we bought. Remember,
That's true.
We
have
bought
this
a lot of
amazing
perfume.
A
Bought a lot of perfume.
Ooh, I imagine
got it
Q
in
is
our
having
hair.
quite the
course.
auditory time right now. Auditory, sensory time.
Olfactory.
Olfactory. Thank you.
There you
Good
go.
job, brain.
There you go.
All right, Tariq, you are up next.
Okay. So I'm with the other goblin, and I still look like his mom, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna raise my magic staff with what he. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna try something wild because
it.
why not? I am going to. I raise my staff, and you can see my eyes go black again
Mhm.
as my staff turns into a rope. I have this
Ooh.
ability because I'm if you pick a guild mage, you have a special staff that you can bind certain special abilities in. And the special ability I bought, because it's cheap to buy, was turning it into a rope. So my staff only lengthens and turns into this like thick black corded rope that's made of hemp and very comfortable when tied around people, just saying.
I assumed that was the reason why you'd taken that spell, honestly, with the nimble fingers and the rope. I mean, come on.
The blacksmith enjoyed it. Anyway, so and I'm gonna try and use that. I don't know what skill you think could be. I'm probably bad at whatever skill is gonna be used, but I want to do it. I'm gonna try and lasso him with this rope.
Okay, let's have a look.
And he thinks his mom is doing this.
Oh God.
You're about to give this goblin one hell of a fucking complex.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what skill.
I
Or
would
would it be a
probably-
combat
It'd be a
technique?
combat technique, and I would probably say brawling.
Okay, my brawling, I have 6 points. Oh, that's better than I thought. Huh. Wait, it says CTR is 6, right? Yeah, that's my points. Great. And so this is, I forgot, it's been a week since we did a combat roll, so I just roll a d20. I'm just going to roll a d20. So that's a 10. And what am I rolling below?
Your CTR, right? Is that CTR?
Oh, it's my CTR? Okay,
Yeah.
so that fails because my
Fails.
CTR is 6 for brawling. So I'm trying to like lasso him with this like very comfortable hemp magical rope. And I'm his mom. I'm like, in his mind.
I can't even delve into a deep, dark enough place where I can make that that image appear and not be horrific. So just imagine this poor goblin just shrieking and crying in horror as his mother comes at him with a rope, and he's stood in front of a very scary man that's doing some shouting, and then there's a very scary man doing some shouting in the cave. This poor goblin is just shrinking in on himself, just trying to make himself as small as possible. It is now his turn, and he is going to, I think he just starts running. He is just taken off, and he's crying and wailing like big cartoon tears as this
God.
goblin just takes for the hills. He is gone, like a little cloud of dust in his wake.
Yeah,
Oh.
we're the scariest party that smells really nice ever.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Let's see.
Goblin 2 is stood before you, Garion. And much like
Let's
a
go.
protagonist in a shonen anime, he wipes the blood from his mouth, and he's going to come at you with his little dagger.
Let's do it. Bring it. There's a lot you can do with a dagger.
13. You good at that? Oh, he's
that a miss?
one off. He fails.
Sorry, man.
He just goes wide. He is weak. He has taken a lot of wounds, and I think he slips in a bit of his own blood as he comes at you with a dagger, like a whoop, and does not connect. Ortlieb, you are up, my friend.
All right, Ortlieb, I'm wondering, how wide is this cave mouth here?
It's pretty wide.
It's pretty wide.
Yeah, you can get a good couple of people abreast.
I was wondering if perhaps I could do something. I have some like a rope, and I've got like
rope. Is it a comfortable rope though?
It's an uncomfortable. It's a utilitarian rope, non-magical.
Good capitalist rope.
Good capitalist. Yes, it's the kind you take it. You get bootstraps and you make rope out of it, and that's what the rope is. And I was wondering though if I could maybe do like start to construct like a trip line on the mouth of the cave, because I've got like little tent like nails, stakes, and maybe I could do something like that. And if this is a big stupid goblin, maybe I can make it fall over.
I love this. I think this is a survival check. Okay. It's, like hunting, right? You're making tripwires and things like that.
And if it happens that the cow comes out instead, we just cow tipped, and that's fun too.
That's great. Yeah, that means we've had a great evening in the country. We win. Survival is right here. Oh, I have a little bit in survival. I have 3 points in survival. Courage, agility, con. So, let me do 3d20. Oh, that's good. I did good, I think. Yes?
I think you did real good.
Yeah, 1, 3, 4. You're really good at making traps.
1, 3, 4.
Yes.
So you don't need to use any of your SR points. So how many SR points do you have?
I have 3 in that skill. That's what you mean, yeah.
So that's quality level 1. It's not the greatest job in the world, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
And you manage to construct a sort of tripwire across the front of the cave. Cool. Is there anything else you'd like to do? That would be like your action.
I like give a gleeful grim, like, you know how to use rope.
Yeah, so do you.
Well, I have very specialized applications of my rope knowledge, clearly, as you saw.
Yes. No, I'm good. I'm gonna hide around the side, so as to be sneaky and smack if I need to. And I hope I don't smack a cow. I just really
If you punch a cow in the face, it would be the funniest thing I think it's ever happened in RPG.
He's been through enough.
Okay.
Poor Bessie. Poor Bessie.
Poor Bessie.
Okay, so as you set up this rope across the entrance of the cave, you can't really see far into it. It's very dark in there, but as you crouch and hide in the bush like a tiny miniature Pringles man, Charles Bronson, you see this big hulking figure start to make its way to the front of the cave. And this is clearly not a goblin. This is something bigger. This is something more muscular. And you see this huge, broad chest, which is covered by sort of really rough spun clothing that looks like it's been handmade, and long hair that's like piled on top of this thing's head that's sort of hanging down limply on one side. And in its hand, you can see, let me just double check what it is, a huge club, which looks to be more like a tree trunk that has just been pulled out of the earth and has been wielded as a club.
Nice.
This thing, it cuts a fearsome image, and as you called your challenge, you see a hand come up, duck down, and standing out must be about 8 or 9 feet tall, this huge creature that points the club at you, says, "Oh, are you the one with the big fucking mouth?"
Oh, that was at Ortlieb.
That was at 2.
Oh,
yeah. 2 looks up at him and is like, "Oh, not only are you fucking big, you're deaf too."
And you can see the thing turns its head, and you see it's missing an ear. That hurts my feelings. That does. And it's gonna take a few steps forward, and it's gonna try and smash you with this club.
A little bit of pee comes out.
An 11. That is going to be. Ooh, that's gonna do it. No, it's not. God damn this fucking no. Never mind. So it smashes the ground next to you, and there's like dust and bits of rock that go pew, pew, flying up because this is an impact. You feel the earth like shake, but it does miss you by like a good half a foot. And it looks at you. There's a little bit hint of worry in his face as he goes, "Meant to do that." And it is now your turn too.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna dig into the mechanics a bit more here.
Mm-hmm.
What reach is his weapon?
His weapon is long.
Long. Okay. Never mind. I don't have a short weapon, so I'll just keep my quarterstaff out. So we're both long, and I guess I'm going to attack him back.
All right.
Let's see if my lucky dice don't fail me. Is for me an 11 hits, so I hit him.
Nice. Okay, let's have that damage.
I hit him for 3 points of damage, though.
3 points of damage.
I hit him, but it's not much.
So you crack this thing with your quarterstaff. Where are you aiming for with this thing? Because it's like 9 feet tall, so head's probably not here.
Yeah, look, if he's just swung down towards me,
Mm-hmm.
then I'd crack down on his arm, see if I could get him to drop his weapon.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you bring down your quarterstaff, smash it onto this thing's forearm, and you just hear a laugh. That tickled.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Nah, I think that's it for now. Will I quickly look at all my abilities on my character sheet and try and come up with a plan?
All right, Garion, you're up. You've got this one goblin right in front of you that's really desperately trying to kill you, but has failed at every single attempt. This huge thing's walked out of a cave, and another goblin has just run away after shitting its pants.
This guy. All right. All right. So I'm going to attempt to use a forceful blow on this thing so I can get a bonus to damage, maybe bring him down. But that's a penalty to 2 for my attack. Bring it from 15 to 13, and I rolled an 8. So that is a hit. It's going to be 9 damage to this guy.
Ooh, to this little goblin?
Oh, yeah.
How does Garion dispatch this goblin?
I mean, they're kind of big-ish, right? Like you said, they're like 5-ish feet.
Yeah,
maybe a
they're
little
like
shorter.
Between 4'8" and 5'4".
Yeah, I think he just like disembowels it.
Ooh.
Just like a messy. It's got that stomach full of human. Maybe there's a little bit of that there. I don't want to get too grotesque or graphic for the guys, but yeah.
Yeah, you stabbing your sword, you pull out, you hear that horrible wet gushing sound. And the goblin sort of looks at you in the eye, like, why?
The words wet and gushing always make me think of WAP now. So that song is now in my head. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ryan
just thinks how he's going to get it all off his shoes.
Yeah, it's on your shoes. A bit splatters your face. Okay, so that is rest in peace, Goblin 2. You were useless.
Oh.
All right. I mean, it's a goblin, can't expect much of them. They're just doing their best. Tariq, you're up next.
So I was actually very affected by his words, by this ogre thing's words. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because I like being considered a nice guy, right? I'm like, we should not mock you for your inability or ability to hear. We can mock you for stealing a cow. And so my rope stiffens or hardens or becomes more erect as it becomes my staff again. And this time I'm pulling out the big guns. I point it at him, and my eyes, instead of going black, they go orange as I cast Ignifoxus, and my staff literally turns to flame and shoots out.
Whoa.
This like orange, sort of deep orange, like citrus colored flame that is shot out. But let's see if it does well. So it is 3d20. It's a skill. It's not an attack. It's a spell. So that's 3d20, and it's a 5 and 2. Definitely get it. And this is 14, 15, and 14, and I can do it exactly. Perfect. So Ignifaxis, flame flies in a straight line towards the target. It's a 2-action spell, which is I can't move or anything this time. I don't have to aim anything. The target stuff is 2d6 plus quality times 2 damage. So I have 3 points in this spell. That's a quality level 1, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so it's 2d6, so that's a 5. That's 5 times quality times 2. So that's times 2. That's 10 points of damage as this bright orange flame hits him. And it says flammable objects will catch fire. So if it happens to hit the club will catch fire. So
Okay.
so
Make sure you don't misfire and hit your perfume. Then that'll be catastrophic.
That'd be real bad.
so I like my whale perfume.
Not only does the club begin to catch fire, but the loincloth, scraps of clothing that the creature is wearing also set on fire.
Oh, that reminds me of last night with the blacksmith. Anyway.
And this creature's like, as he's patting himself down, trying to put himself out. And he does eventually like pat the flames from his body away, but the club is now on fire. Whether or not it is stupid enough not to put the fiery club out is another thing entirely.
So yeah, that was one of my big guns, you guys.
That's not my concern. As the one who's being swung at by said fiery club, I have other concerns.
Okay, so Goblin 1 has disappeared. It is now Ortlieb's turn.
Okay. I'm wondering, Ortlieb can normally grapple things that are mostly, I would assume, mostly his own size. I'm wondering if I could attempt to just grapple his arm with the club.
I would love nothing more than you to try that.
I would love to do that too. I'm not quite sure how to attempt that, but I want to do it. It's
brawling?
my special ability, brawling.
Nice.
All right.
That's awesome. That's very Lord of the Rings, right? When you climb the like cave troll kind of thing. Nice.
Yes, because I am not fast, but I am nimble, and so I think I can do it. Maybe.
Nice, nimble merchant.
All right, so I roll a d20. I have a 15. It says 15 next to my weaponry. Am I just rolling a straight d20?
Yep.
Okay. I got an 18. That's not great.
Oh no, it doesn't do it.
I don't do it.
So you come up to this thing and you try and grapple its arm to try and restrict its movement so it can't beat the shit out of 2 as it clearly wants to do.
Yes.
But unfortunately the girth of this thing's arm is just too big, and you try and wrap your little arms around it. You just can't quite get that purchase. You can't get that anchor with your, to do a successful grapple. You kind of slip off a bit, and it's sweaty and swampy and gooey. So you just kind of
use my butcher's apron and like clean off to try again next time.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. It is now Ogre's turn.
I have to imagine you wearing this butcher's apron on every scene. Yeah.
Only when he's made the decision that there's something that needs to die.
Right.
That's the only time.
Okay, so the ogre is really stupid. So I'm gonna just roll a d4 to see who decides to hit. So odds for Ortlieb evens 2. It's evens, so 2's getting an attempt again with a flaming club. No, doesn't do it because I can't roll today. So this the ogre goes down to pick up the club again, but the flames have now basically covered the whole thing, and it goes like tries to soothe its hand, which will bring us back to 2.
All right. I think I've got a plan. I think I have a plan. Although, tell me if it will work because he's a big motherfucker. 2 has a combat ability called Takedown, where he can try and take someone's legs out and make them go prone. Considering how big he is that feasible?
I mean, it weighs 400 pounds. So I don't know. If I will say, okay, so if it's above quality 2.
It's a combat roll. So
It's a combat roll? Ah, dang.
It's a combat roll at -4. It's quite hard. I think it's 4 or 2.
All right, no, let's roll it. Let's see if we can do it. And if you get like a real good result, then it's going to be super good.
All right, okay. We'll give it a go. Otherwise, I just hit the back of his leg and nothing happened. 6. That might do it. It does. Yep, no, it does. I had a target of 11, so 6 will do it.
All right, okay. So what exactly does this takedown ability do?
So I'll read it out to you. Your attack suffers a penalty of 4. Your opponent may defend, so he can try and defend against it.
Okay.
If your attack succeeds, the opponent's defense fails. The opponent falls down and gains the state prone, and this attack does 1d3 damage.
Cool. Okay, I will. I'll have him try and parry you away. Where is it on here? Okay, I'm looking for. Nope, never mind.
So he takes 1d3 damage if he's fallen over. So that is all 3 on that case. And the state of prone is being prone is risky. He only has a movement of 1. He's got -4 to attack, -2 to defend. He has a standing up, takes an action, and everyone who's close to him gets an attack of opportunity when he does so.
Nice.
Although he can evade it if he checks on his body control. So hopefully, if he's down, we all get a bunch of free attacks.
You just start smashing him when it's down.
That's it. Like in Willow, where the little fellas, the little brownies, whatever they're called.
I was imagining the printer scene from Office Space, but with an ogre instead. Okay, so with it almost of a cry of timber, this thing goes as you take out the back of its leg, and it just bam down on its face in the swampy mud, and you're like as you club it one. Okay, Garion, it is your turn.
All right. So it's just the ogre now?
It's just the ogre. 1 goblin's dead, 1 ran away.
All right. Let's see what this
that you know
ogre's
of
up
at
to.
least, anyway.
Man. All right. Same thing as last time then. He's going to take his penalty to do some extra damage.
Nice.
And let's see. That's a 2 that he rolls. That's underneath his 13.
Nice.
Ooh, that is max damage. 12.
Ooh.
Yikes.
And he's like on the floor, so like some. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is. I don't know if that does anything different.
Well, it does.
But
It makes it harder for
he's
him to
just gonna-
defend. He gets
Ah,
+2
okay,
to
okay.
defend.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have him take that for the time being because he's like in the mud.
His face is full of mud. Yeah.
He's crying face down in the mud. You're bullying this ogre.
There we are. Is it this? So you said he was missing an ear?
He's missing an ear.
Is it the
yes.
same ear we found?
It looks very similar to.
Oh, all right.
So one of the villagers got a slice of ear off of him.
On an ogre, no
Interesting.
less. That's really,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if it was the Bessie lady, the one we met. I'm gonna imagine it's her.
Gemma. Yeah.
Gemma.
Gemma, yeah.
Okay. All right, which will bring us back to Tariq. It's your turn, my friend.
Okay, I'm running dangerously low on magic. So instead, I'm going to shriek at it and I'm trying to intimidate check and be like, oh my god, you tripped over. You're so easily defeated. You're missing an ear. A random villager cut off your ear. You're so terrible. You're such a terrible ogre. But I find it really hard to do so I have to like make an effort because I'm a nice guy, okay? I'm only mean to people once we've established a safe word and they're tied up and they've asked me to be mean to them, right? So it's very difficult. So I'm like, I look at everyone and I'm like, I say all this thing, but everyone knows I look very uncomfortable doing so because I have very few points in Intimidate. I have 0 points to Intimidate, in fact. So it's very hard for me. So I will roll my 3d20. I will see how awkward I was. 1 and 9 definitely succeed. I do not think my 17 will succeed. Nope. I fail at my charisma, unfortunately. Even though I'm cute. My courage didn't work. But yeah, so my charisma is all about being nice. So I'm like, yeah, your ear got cut off. But my heart's not in this intimidation, and it doesn't work at all. I'm really nice.
You just hear this ogre be like, that's just mean. Okay. I will bring us to Ortlieb. It is now your turn. This ogre is now face down in the dirt, crying, and getting pummeled the shit out of by 2 Hungarians.
Being told mean things by me.
So this ogre is gigantic. He said it's about 400 pounds. I myself am about 350 pounds. I'm going to sit on his upper thighs.
Nice.
I think that would be very, very difficult for him to get up. I imagine if he's super ripped up here, usually they like ignore the glutes and stuff. Like so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Glutes are important. My blacksmith knows that.
Yeah.
You're blacksmith now.
Yes. I mean, he was saying I'm yours last night, so you know.
It's true. I mean, in real life, the only blacksmith I know has a great ass, so I think it must be true. So
It's
the
all
first
that
guy
bracing.
I ever explicitly hit on went on to become a blacksmith.
There's something in it. Friends, become a blacksmith. Okay, so should we do another like brawl for this? So you're
sure.
Grappling in a sense. His
I'm
thighs.
trying to grapple. It's the world's most comfortable grapple. Ooh, I rolled a 4.
Oh,
Under my 15.
yeah. You
You're
nailed
really
it.
good at sitting.
Yeah, thank you.
Nailed the sit. It's a
Oh, so he's now pinned, kind of, because our merchant is sitting on his leg.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So basically, the way this looks is this ogre is face down in the dirt with his arms all over the place, with Ortlieb sat on the back of his thighs.
Yes.
So get up.
I'm
Thanks.
like reverse cowgirled on his thighs.
Ooh.
That's what's happening.
Okay, it is now the ogre's turn. Well, he's prone. Okay. I don't know what he can do except just give up and wait for death.
You can try and buck Ortlieb off, perhaps.
Could, yeah. I think he's probably going to try and do that. Let me just double check something real quick, though.
I love this. Just
He
saying.
can. I mean, if he's grappled, standing up might be hard. If he can try and attack, but it's at -4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a -4 penalty, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. He's going to try.
I'm watching Ortlieb do this. Like, ooh, ideas. I can actually sit on people. Interesting.
All right. Oh, no! The penalty! I thought I was going to finally hit someone. It was so close. Yeah, he's just flailing with his arms, but it's really easy to see coming because he doesn't have the full range of movement. He's got like a little radius in front of him where he's dangerous. So you're not really any danger for him as he's just swinging wildly with his arms. He doesn't connect with anything, which will bring us back to 2.
Okay, so what I want to do now then is, because he's down and it's not looking great for him, I want to try and intimidate him with the goal being to try and convince him to submit at this point and surrender. So if that's cool, I'll give that a go. That's not a great roll. There's a 1 and a 20 in there, but I can do it with 1 quality level. I can get it down to 1 quality
Nice.
Cool. Okay. Let me see what I got going on here.
Basically, the way I imagine it is 2 does like a display of arms, right? Swings his weapon around, thrusts it down right in front of his face, and basically says, submit to submit to us or face death.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Is it
it.
is that like a ritualist, like an act that your people like do? Is that, or is it like something you're doing right now?
It is a thing that we do in real life. Maori people do it too.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, because I've heard of that for Maori stuff. So I was like, is that for your character as well?
I mean, we called them mokai, which is basically not good enough for the dinner table.
Oh, really?
It's like either you surrender or I eat you. Your choice.
That's so funny. Not good enough for the dinner table.
Dang.
That's amazing.
Okay, so here's a fun fact. Ogre's super stupid.
What?
And yeah, I know. Can you believe it? And he kind of just goes, "Oh, don't. I don't." And he's not
And
making.
I go, yeah, as a last ditch attempt to intimidate him, but it doesn't work. He's intimidated by 2, not by me.
Cool. I didn't expect that to work.
No, yeah,
I
you
guess
have.
he's just sitting there like
Yeah.
holding this weapon, like, oh, okay.
Oh shit, that worked. What? So now you have a 9-foot tall, naked, crying ogre face down in the swamp dirt with Orby sat on his thighs. What would you like to do?
I have an idea, unless someone else has an
Mhm.
idea. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to walk up to its face and like turn into a rope again, like I hempify again, and I like smack it in the face with it, like not to like damage it, just to, like
Mhm.
make a point, right? And I'm like, you were very not nice to that village. You burnt it down, you killed the people, you stole the cow. Will you take the cow back? And you are not going to eat any other villagers in this area, or we will come back, and this guy over here is going to sit on you again, and this guy over here is going to cut you into ribbons, and I will set more things on fire. I'm really bad at looking scary, so I'm just like,
And his his huge bottom lip starts to wobbling. But I was only doing what I was told to.
and
Oh.
So I'm like, who told you?
I don't know what his name was.
I'm going to gaze into his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I love this spell. Okay, gaze into mind. It will cost me 8. And I will roll 14, 15, 12. Okay. Beep, 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 beep. D20, 3D20. Oh, God. Let me see if I can manage that. I have 5 points in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah. No, I fail. So I tried to look at his mind. Can I flavor that his mind is so dense and so different from humans? I'm just like, oh my God. I'm not getting anywhere, you guys.
And you see confused, scared images of Tu and Tariq.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All I see, but I see you guys, but in a bit more of a monstrous aspect, right? Because he's scared of you.
Mm-hmm.
So like I see like Tu and Tariq. Tu and the Jim. I don't know your name.
Orion.
Or Garayan. Yeah. Garayan and Tu are they like look a bit more scared, but that's all I can get. I cannot get any further than the immediate present because ogres are very silly and don't think of the past and the future very much.
Well, yeah, I mean they're just hungry boys. They just wanna eat all the time.
Yeah. So tell us. So I'm unnerved. I'm like, tell us more about him. What did he look like? Where did you meet him? Ugh.
You've thrown so many questions at him that his tiny brain is overloaded, and you just get gibberish back. Basically, it's just
seeing this.
Love it. So I turned to us. I'm like, that must be my spell. I'm sorry. It was so powerful. It must have scrambled his brain.
Tu gently pushes Tariq to the side. Gently just pushes him away. And he crouches down so he's like at eye level with the ogre.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "What's your name, Worm?"
It's Barthak.
All right. He smiles and goes, "Okay, Barthak, And who told you to do this, eh?
Oh, I didn't know his name, but it was bigger than me, I think. Well, he looked bigger than me at least, and he had this big scary voice going on, and well, he said if I didn't do it, then he'd feed me to this thing that was even bigger than me. He said it was a big snake, but I don't know what a snake is. Well, it sounded really scary, and I didn't want to get fed to anything because I know when I eat stuff, they don't get eaten by me, and I didn't want to get eaten by anything. You know what I mean? And he starts gibbering again.
It's too cute. I think he's cute now.
And he has a little bottom apparently.
Yeah. It's like
And
a
where do I
giant
find
toddler.
this big fella, eh? Where is he? Where's he hiding?
I don't know. He came to my cave. My cave right here.
What direction did he come from?
I don't know. It's dark.
You don't know anything, do you? You're not much good to me alive, are you?
No! And then he starts crying.
Oh God!
Where are the people, eh? And the cow, where are they?
Well, I did eat some of them because I was very hungry, and they were so very tasty, little and crunchy. But some of them are still in there because he wanted some of them still alive. And the cow.
So is he coming for them?
I think so.
Right. He sort of looks up at the others and goes, right, this big fella that you're scared of, you see, Tuarangi Te Kaiwa, that's me, in case you forgot. I'm going to fucking eat him. And you work for me now, all right?
All right.
Right. So we're going to go back in that cave, and you're going to look after those people, because your job now is to fucking protect these sorts of people. You hear me?
All right.
Right. And then we're going to set up a little trap, and we're going to get that fella that scared you, and your mate Tuarangi is going to sort him out. I don't know why I've suddenly got an English accent. This is just coming out. Fuck it. It's not at all culturally appropriate.
The ogre says, oh, it's like culturally bonding, isn't it? Like, we've reached an accord.
I'm like, and if you get hungry, you can eat the dead poopy goblin outside.
He looks at the goblin and goes, that was my pet.
I'm like, well, you stole someone else's pet. Can you think about how the owners of Bessie would feel?
Yeah, I suppose you got a point.
So if you get hungry, eat your pet, not these people.
Not the people.
So Tuarangi's like, right, stand up, clean yourself up.
I will roll off of. I can't even really stand up. I just have to kind of roll.
The ogre says, I feel about 350 pounds lighter. And he stands up, and he's got all this like swamp mud and muck all over him. He's a real mess, but he's like got tear-stained cheeks as he wipes a horrible big bit of snot from his nose. He says, "Come into my cave."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. I'm so excited.
And he somehow managed to avoid the tripwire on the way out of the cave because Susie forgot that it was there because I'm a bad GM. But he doesn't avoid it on the way in and goes bam and smashes his face, and he's got a big swollen cheek. And he's like, "Oh, I wasn't there a minute ago."
I was like, "Oh yeah, who knows where it came from?"
I will quietly take it down.
Okay, and he leads you inside the cave, and it's surprisingly spacious in here. It's one of those kind of weird fantasy caves where it's just one big hollow rather than a series of tunnels like some actual caves are. And you can see that there is a sort of makeshift home in here. There's like a bed that has been made for this ogre out of whatever he's managed to scavenge, like actual literal beds that he's stolen from the people from the villages. There's like half a wagon in here for some reason. And like you can see like remnants of a campfire and stuff like that. But you can see a bit towards the back, there is a huddle of people who are basically in a pile that have just been kind of shoved in the back next to Bessie. And as you come in, the cow just goes moo and looks at you quizzically.
Bessie!
She seems fine. She's not been touched.
Oh.
But it does smell of like decomposition and rot in here as you walk a bit further and you can see like body parts. There's like fingers and stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
It's a bit gross.
I will go up and because I'm very nice and not frightening at all. To be fair, I wasn't frightening at all recently. Excuse me. I'll go up and start untying. I know a little bit about rope, right? I start untying the people, and I'm like, it's okay, we're here to rescue you. I'm from the Black Mage Guild of Fazar, and I'm here to save you.
And there's a couple of villagers here that just look at you and silently scream as their voices are hoarse, but you hear them whispering among themselves, being like, oh God, what now? Oh.
And I'm like, we're here to rescue you. See, my friend Ortlieb. He knows a lot about food, and we brought some rations, and you're gonna be okay.
You can hear a couple of the villagers being like, are you gonna rescue us straight into one of your laboratories and rip out our minds?
And I'm like, no, we only do that in limited cases. And I put on a cheery face, right? I'm like,
I'm gonna saunter up behind Tariq. And
Is this
just
an emotional support sandwich time?
yeah, it will be very soon.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better time for an emotional support sandwich than this. But I'm going to, in my most reassuring, like food truck guy, you tell your troubles, just like, he's not going to do anything like that to you. He is true. It is in very limited cases.
and my grin widens, which I think is like a charming grin, but
Yes.
who knows what it is. They're very frightened, right? They interpret things differently.
Yes. It's best to take everything he says at face value 100%. He's just going to
Poor people. Sweet
Yes.
Jesus. Okay.
I'm going to distribute towels immediately to everybody, and also sandwiches if I have enough sandwiches.
What kind of sandwich?
Probably just like really simple, just like probably like very, very dry, like rye, like a German.
Yeah, like a pumpernickel and like cheese or something.
Like a hard rye with hard cheese and mustard kind of thing.
Nice. Ooh, mustard, nice.
Maybe some cured meat, just a little bit.
Two pieces of bread.
No, these open face sandwiches are being.
I refuse.
This is an argument that Jim Davis and I have had for 17 years. Open face sandwiches are sandwiches.
No,
I'm not even kidding. Not even
no,
kidding.
we're not kidding. It's been 17
I thought we were
years at
friends.
least.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate Liam's support on this. I agree 100%.
I will
Yeah.
stay neutral as someone who is Indian, and we don't have sandwiches our traditional food, so I will stay neutral.
Respect. There you go.
Out of respect for everyone, I'm not going to voice my sandwich opinions.
You're not gonna get
I'm giving them sandwiches in whatever way they might prefer sandwiches. I will even take orders if they want a wrap after I ask them if they want a sandwich. I will provide them with a wrap or something else.
So Ortlieb sets up a makeshift food truck in the corner.
Yes, he does. With his backpack. It's one of the things his backpack can do.
It is going some way to ease the panic amongst the villagers. It's not being helped by Tariq's very predatory smile.
I'm trying to be friendly.
Assurances that he is not a mind mage serial killer, but some people don't quite trust him just yet. But sandwiches can win people over. What is Gorion up to?
I mean, I think Gorion is this whole like convincing the ogre to let us in on the little plan and maybe lay a trap for this dark mysterious figure. He's going to be keeping an eye out at the cave entrance, just posted up. He's not terribly great at stealth, but he's no slouch either. So he's just going to try to find a place to keep an eye out.
Okay.
What time is it, Susie?
The day is getting on now. I would say it's late afternoon, early evening. So the sun will be setting pretty soon.
Cool.
If you want to roll me a stealth check there, Jim, and we'll see if Gorion can blend himself into his surroundings.
So let's see, I've got a skill of 5 in that. That's going to be what? Stealth is courage, intuition, agility.
Mm-hmm.
You could make a costume out of the eviscerated goblin and just post up by the fire.
Oh. Ooh, 11, 5, 2.
That's
I do
good.
believe. Yeah, that is. Wow. Okay, so that is going to be QL2.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
So you deploy one of the tactical bushes that's nearby, but it's kind of elevated, so you've got a little like a good view, and it's close enough where it's not too high that you can't jump down straight to action if you need to, but it's good enough that you get a better view than if you were at ground level, and it does kind of conceal your position a little too. You're a bit harder to
Nice.
spot because you're higher up.
Very good. Very good. We will have worked out some sort of complex signal, I'm sure, some sort of whistle or cough or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sweet. And 2, what are you up to?
I'm just making sure the ogre knows who's boss. I'm just staying like around the ogre, and every time the ogre looks around the room, 2's fucking eyeballing him, just so he knows. Oi, don't go back to your fucking old ways, mate. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Keep him in line.
You know?
Can we give him a sandwich to appease him?
Sure. Yeah. Sandwiches for everybody.
And
Except
if,
two big
if
meaty
there's
things.
any of the villagers, 2's not very good at friendly talk, I don't think.
Oh yeah,
If there's any-
Tariq is good at that.
If there's any of the villagers that seem less panicked than the others, 2 would be curious to know if they are aware of any strange figures around here who would want to have them all imprisoned. Yeah, try and get some local knowledge.
Yeah. See if there's a talk here for this. A chat. Skill. Dang, brain. I don't really think one applies here. There are a couple of folks that seem to be like a bit more chilled out than others. I think they've resigned themselves to becoming ogre food, so they're just mildly glad that they aren't ogre food right now.
And they have nice pumpernickel, mustard, and hard cheese sandwiches.
There's one like sat down with a towel around their shoulders, just quietly eating this lovely sandwich that Ortlieb had made for them. And basically they explained to you that they have no idea what any of this is about. As far as they were concerned, it was just a normal day in the village, having a good time. Then this ogre and a bunch of goblins stormed in, grabbed a bunch of folks, and left with them, set fire to their village. They have no idea what it's about.
Oh, I want to tell them, oh, and your friend Gemma is alive. She came to us to ask us to rescue you, and she's currently staying in the inn in my room, and if she doesn't touch anything, she won't explode.
The person looks at you and says, oh, I hate Gemma. She's such a gossip.
Like, well, her gossip got us to find you, didn't it?
I suppose it did. I'll let her off this one time. But she saw me kissing the milkmaid, and everyone in the village knew about it the next day. Yeah, like she goes off on this.
Was the milkmaid that took care of Bessie? And I want to go and rub the cow down because I used to be a farmer as a kid.
Yeah. Oh, dog. Bessie is enjoying this attention because cows are just big dogs. And she loves it. She's having a great time. Little happy moos as you pay her some attention. But as you are brushing down this cow, you can see like behind her lying on the ground, there seems to be a woman. She has dark skin and is wearing armor, as though she was some sort of fighter, perhaps.
Does she look like the same ethnicity as the villagers?
No, her skin is darker than the others.
Okay. So I see a warrior type, and I turn to Garayan, and I'm like, this is your lot.
Yeah. He'll kind of take a look, come out from where he's posted on lookout. Does she look like hurt? Unconscious?
She is unconscious right now.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I don't. Garayan doesn't know anything. I mean, I can't really bind wounds or.
I know a little bit.
treat.
I can try to help people.
Yeah. Do I recognize like her armor or like where she might be from based on like her kit?
Her kit seems to be very much not for this area. It is lighter and layered. Her armor isn't heavy armor either. It's a light scale mail that you can kind of tell, and you can see at her hip, though there is no blade in it, there is a curved scabbard, so like a scimitar-esque.
All right,
scabbard.
yeah. Grind's light infantry specialty as well, so he might. He'll sort of feel a bond of kinship with this. Yeah, all right. But he doesn't really recognize it then.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell as well, she's wearing a sort of like a headscarf as well.
Okay.
Oh, is she from? Can we tell if she's from Gorion and Tariq's like country?
It's very likely. She seems to be wearing clothing that would be common there.
Okay. Nice. So both of us like maybe exchange a look. We're like, oh,
could be.
And I'm like, Oitleen, can you bring some of your strong scented foods to maybe wake up this put some mustard on her nose or something?
I can do that. I do have some like rudimentary like skills with I can treat disease and poison, but what I'm the best at treating is the soul.
That's the best skill.
I'm good at treating the mind. Sometimes I just shatter it instead, but you know.
I mean, you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? But
I've got very basic treat wounds, so I'll help Ortley with whatever they're doing as well.
Yeah, I've got basic that. I do have a little like wound kit. Like,
nice.
With stitches and stuff. And I bought every herb in the book. I have all of them.
I bought every herb in the book.
I'm a spice merchant. I need to have spices to merch.
Love it.
I have them all. But yes, I can maybe do a little bit. I know a little bit about alchemy as well, if there's anything applicable there. But yeah, I can attempt.
All right.
Oh, that's terrible. That's not good at all.
That's 2 16s. That ain't great.
No, I did not succeed at attempting to heal this poor lady. So yeah, maybe I do just like put mustard on her nose or something. That's a good suggestion. Let's do that.
Whack some Dijon on. Let's see how it goes. Unsurprisingly, with this new mustard mustache you have given this lovely woman, she does not rouse and is still unconscious. She doesn't seem to be in any danger of dying right now. But you can see like she's clearly taken a bump to the head. She's got like a cut here and there's some bruising developing on her forehead. But she's not, as far as you can tell, she's got a strong pulse. She's still breathing. She's just having a forced nap right now.
Can 2 help wake her up maybe?
It's up to 2 if he would want to.
What would that require? Would it just be a treat wounds?
Yes, I think so.
It's not looking great, folks, but I'll give it a go. Okay.
Yeah. We'll muddle through this.
Nah, I actually missed out by 1 skill point.
Oh, damn.
Dang.
Okay, we're going to go the old bulldozer route, right? So I'm going to walk up to her and I'm like, oh, she can't wake up. I try and speak to her in Tulamidia to see if that wakes her up. If it doesn't, like, okay, if she's from Fazar, she must be used to this. And I bore into her mind.
Okay.
This will use up the last of my spell points because why not? Unless I fail, it'll lose up half then. So, D20. And I definitely get those 2, the 17. I'll probably get with some of my spell. Okay, this is Gaze into the Mind. So I have 2 points left over with a success. So that's a quality level 1 of Gaze into the Mind. And at Gaze into the Mind, I read his mind. I can see what they're thinking at the moment. I can notice something's amiss. Quality level 1, it doesn't really affect the quality level really. So So I can see probably like if it's like naturally asleep or bespelled, and if it's afraid of something right now, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, I would say with your check, you see the last couple of moments before she was knocked unconscious. She is stood in the village, basically calling out this ogre and goblins as an attack, right? She's standing there to defend the villagers.
Nice.
And you see she is the one that cut off the ogre's ear. With her blade.
Oh, well, not Gemma. Okay.
So she comes with the sword, swipes it, but as she cuts the ear, the ogre comes around with its hand and just punches her in the head, and that's what knocks her unconscious. And you get a few fuzzy images of her over the ogre's shoulder as it's walking out of the village, and you can see very hazily a hand come down and pick up her sword from the mud.
Was it, could I see what kind of hand it was, or I can't see?
It looked like a human hand, or at least it was a humanoid hand, and it had pale white skin.
So I turned to the villagers. I'm like, does anyone know who this fine lady who has, from such a wonderful country is? Does anyone know? Or has anyone seen her sword? I think one of you might have taken it.
And the villagers all look around, and you note that none of these villagers seem as pale as the hand you saw in this vision. But they kind of look around themselves, and the general consensus is they don't really know who she is. She was a traveling adventurer that was basically sleeping in a barn, and she just helped to defend the village during this attack.
So if I'm talking too much, people let me know. But I want to turn to the ogre and ask, because I don't speak the ogre's language very well, right? So I had to ask too. I'm like, can you ask him if he knows anything about this lady, or if he saw the sword? That's the important thing, because it's her sword. So I asked two to translate that for me.
Yeah. I think.
Sure.
No. The response you get from the ogre is basically he didn't know this woman. He's angry with her because she's the one that cut off his ear. And he didn't see what happened to her sword because he just picked her up because he was going to eat her.
Okay, so I'm like, good, you're not going to eat her anymore. Don't be angry with her anymore.
He's like, put my ear.
I will, and then I point at two and give a meaningful look.
Two just eyeballs them. Just to them,
like a puppy that's been scolded. He just kind of goes, and shrinks.
Did when we were talking to the ogre, did he mention anything about having to capture specific people, or was it just everybody?
It was just people. The ogre says, like, he just says as many people as he could. And he asked you not to tell the scary man that he did eat a few of them.
Okay.
Because he wasn't supposed to.
Looking to Tariq too with this ask, is there any sort of magic that relies on sacrifice and blood and things?
There's lots of math that relies on sacrifice and blood. I don't do much of that. That's not in my field of my sub-discipline of study. But there's so much. I've heard because I'm a little disdainful of the witches, right? Because I'm a guild mage. Right? I've heard the toad witches sometimes sacrifice people a lot, but that's not my field of study. And I'm just so everyone knows, I made all that up right now. That's not from like the lore or anything, okay? So that is Sharon made that up. Yeah, Tariq might know. It might be truth actually because Tariq knows it, but Sharon just made all that up. It's not in the book. Because Tariq does have a magical lore skill, right? So he has a spell book with him as well. So he can say, "Oh yeah, I don't do that, but other people do." Like, it gets fluids everywhere. It's kind of gross. It doesn't smell very good. I'm really into smells. So I like the clean mind, not the smushy brain. I got a DM to be silent.
I don't know where you go from there. So the evening progresses, and there's some confusion amongst the villagers. They're like, "Can we go home? Do we have to stay here?" Like,
it's dark. Do you want to go home at this time?
I would worry if you go, if the person we're waiting for might have some awareness of what's going on at the village.
Oh yeah. And there's like rumblings, you always get that one guy in the pandemic movie or the horror movie that's like, I want to go home. Like, I'll open the door to the zombies. I don't have to stay here. So there's some grumblings, but they kind of get quieted down by the more rational thinking people who are like, just stay put. These people are clearly quite competent. Chill your shit. But evening is progressing. It's starting to get dark, and the people that have been captured build up this fire for some warmth in here as it's now getting pretty chilly, and there are quite a lot of blood and guts and stuff. It's going to bring the air down a little. So they build a larger fire to keep some warmth, and it's not long before a figure arrives at the mouth of the cave. And Gorion, you can see this clearly is a humanoid, a little taller than an average person. They're about 6'3", 6'4". But they're wearing like a cloak with a hood that is drawn quite low over their face. And you can see this figure approaching. It is a dark cloak. It's clearly made to blend in. It's like a dark green.
All right. So Gorion's actually night blind. So he probably just sort of sees something in the
outline.
Just sort of like a shape or something. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna give the little just sort of just sort of like little whistle for whatever get somebody else to come out here who can maybe see or talk to them, but he's gonna stay where he is. He's not leaving.
Okay. So this figure approaches the mouth of the cave, and you can see it cast from the light from the fire a huge shadow on the wall. And at this, Barthok, the ogre, starts freaking out. This is the big bad. This is the big thing that came to get him the last time, that told him to do this horrible thing. And you can hear him start like whimpering as he sees this huge shadow on the wall. But the figure hasn't approached. It's kind of just stood there waiting.
Can I tell whether or not this is an illusion?
I'm sure you have a check or a spell for that.
Perfect. I have skills in, I think, magical lore.
Mm-hmm.
It's a knowledge skill that I'm pretty skilled at, it looks like. So I'm going to make a roll just to be like, I know a lot about mind magic. 13, 4, and 20. Well, I think I might still be able to make it. Magical lore. 13 works, 12 works, 20. I missed it by 1 point. Really?
Oh.
I have 7 points in magical lore. And I need
use
8
one of your fate points.
Fate point.
Sure, fate point. Fate
Yeah.
points.
Fate point.
I have 1 left.
Okay. So you take a moment to focus everything, all of your knowledge, all of your studying, all of your learning on this. There is maybe an element of magic here. There is something that's getting, like the way the light is playing off this cave wall. If it was just normal light, it wouldn't cast a shadow as big and scary as this. But this is like a really dark shadow, right? And it seems larger than it should be. It's clearly meant to be intimidating and imposing.
So I like look, and you see my eyes go black when I'm trying to look at this, right? I'm like, and so I whisper to the other 3. I'm like, I don't think the thing is actually that big. I think that's a magically enhanced shadow.
Can we assume that 2 is himself sort of chilling in the shadows, expecting someone to turn up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hopefully from an unseen position, 2 wants to have a good look at the figure and try and, because my perception is exceptional. So,
okay, let's do it.
I'm all about playing to strengths. I'm good at 4 things, and this session so far has been all those 4 things.
Nice. Very good.
Here we go.
Right now, you're the most competent of all of us.
Don't speak too soon. That roll wasn't great. Hold on. Let me backtrack this. So that would be a perception roll. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's not too bad. I am down to 4 points. That's quality level 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from your position in the shadows, not the big spooky shadow, but some shadows nonetheless, you are studying this figure and you cannot see past the blackness of the shadow on this thing's face. It's completely concealed by the cloak, and where you would expect a face like a chin or a nose to be visible in the shadow of the hood, you cannot see anything.
Mm.
It is pitch black, like a void.
Okay. Okay, and it's just them. There's no big worm, snake thing,
Nope.
anything like that.
Nothing that is visible or audible. It's just this figure.
They doing anything? Just standing at the mouth of the cave?
Just standing there right now.
I nudge Gorion. I'm like, I think we should talk to it. I think he's a mage of some sort.
Be my guest.
Oh, me? Okay. So I'm like, I am Tariq of the Black Mage Guild of Fazar, and who are you?
And you hear a voice that is low and hissing. Tariq of the Black Mages of Fazar, do you bring the tributes?
We are very new here and are curious why you need tribute and what sort of tribute you need.
The great serpent hungers.
Where is the great serpent? We would speak to the great serpent.
You don't receive a response to that. You receive silence.
Okay, I'm like, well, it seems like we don't have the tribute, so if we could just explain ourselves to the great serpent, that's probably the easiest.
As you say that, the cloak falls away and the shadow just turns into like a gajillion black snakes that just tumble down. They just collapse. It's like they're in the figure of a tall person, and it's just a lump of snakes that
So
drop.
instead of 3 kobolds in a trench coat, it's a gajillion snakes in a trench coat?
Yeah, a gajillion snakes in a trench coat.
I love it.
And
I jump back a bit. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and they hiss at you and they snap at you as if they are to bite you. And they begin to slither into the cave.
Somebody set him on fire. We've got all that perfume. Is it flammable?
Oh, it's made of whale blubber and stuff, right?
It's very flammable.
Set it on fire.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, stop the snakes! I like yell at or something to everyone in the cave.
Yeah.
I yell out to Big Boy over there to step on the snakes.
Get him. Roll around on him.
Yeah.
So Barthak just starts slapping him like with his big meaty ogre hands, and a couple of the villagers start, trying their best where they grab bits of wood. One of them has grabbed a bit of the fire with the still embers on the end, and they're just trying to drive these snakes away. And they're either driven away or killed. But these are like solid black shiny scale snakes with no other markings on them. They have like a little bit of like white from their underbelly scales, but that's what you can expect.
Can I do another magical lore check to see if this is recognizable to me?
Go for it.
Okay, 12 definitely hits. 16 can be reduced with 1 point, and 18 can be reduced. Yeah, so I get a quality level 1.
Quality level 1. You are not familiar with this particular spell or magical effect. You do know that it is something magical, though. It is incredibly dark, forbidden knowledge magic, if you know what it is.
I would like to take one of these long black snakes and keep it.
Okay.
Keep the corpse, bind it up and keep a sample, basically.
Yeah, are they real snakes?
Yes.
Flesh and blood snakes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They have manifested into real snakes.
I have no idea about snakes. I'm assuming they're...
Oh, I point to Big Boy and I'm like, this is a snake. Because he doesn't know what a snake is, right? So
it's like, that was gonna eat me.
And he's like, I think he was not, but and not one and put it in my backpack.
See, this whole time, two, who is barefoot, is noping the fuck out. He wants to be nowhere near any of these bitey things on the ground. He's up and out of the cave. He's like, nope, that's a you thing. I did the ogre, you did a snake. That's the deal. I'm out.
Help us with the perfume.
Oh, we should burn the corpses, you mean?
Yeah.
We could just throw them into the bonfire, maybe, right?
I don't want to breathe the smoke in.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah,
we
that's got to be
who knows?
real bad for you.
Yeah. We should do it outside. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the villagers at this point as well have also fled the cave because they don't want to be in a cave full of snakes.
Sure.
So, okay, question for the team. Should we take their village is burnt down. How many
Yeah.
of them are here, Susie?
Oh boy, I would say there's at max 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should just take them to the city and be like, because your village is destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Hervina.
Well, break the news gently that their village and everywhere
So
they knew and loved
good
was gone.
news, everyone.
Might know.
You are going to be relocated. The bad news is your village has burnt to the ground, but you are alive. And isn't that so awesome? You can still experience the wonders of the world and Bessie and blacksmiths.
There's a couple of villagers that are heartbroken. They're like, my family have had that farm for 6 generations. But they'll get over it.
They have to get over it.
See-
That's the sad reality.
Yeah.
Two actually is approaching it from the other angle. He's of the opinion that like this is your Tudonga Waiwai, this is your ancestral home. Come back once we make it safe.
Mhm.
And Ogre here,
Yeah.
whose name I've forgotten, big boy here, he'll look after you. Hey boy, you know. Because if he doesn't, I've got him.
Eat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a couple of the villages I think really come around to that, and they are really receptive to that, and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll rebuild. It was just property at the end of the day. We're okay. Some of them are a bit more upset about it. But others are like, yeah, we can do this. We can rebuild it. I didn't like
That's
that
the
house anyway.
spirit.
Go.
No, I always wanted to put a conservatory in.
Oh,
It's just that's extremely middle class English. Jesus.
So we should, I would say, nap for the night. Look, we're not going to take them back in the dead of night. to
no,
their
not a
village.
swamp in the night. That's a bad
That's
idea.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should let's nap for the night. We should keep watch. We should always have one of us keep watch in case Big Boy tries anything, though he probably
Certainly.
won't. And yeah.
Yeah. See if the warrior woman gets any better, if she's still like
That's a
knocked
good
out.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure she's all right.
Okay. So, over the course of the night, you have your watches. Nothing too dramatic happens. But as morning is starting to break, the woman begins to rouse a little, and she's making like confused like pain sounds, and she's like, as she wakes.
I will go up to her and start speaking in Tulamidia
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "Hi, we found you. I guess we rescued you. Who are you and what are you doing here?"
She says, I never expected to see another Tulamidian here.
Oh, I am Tariq of the Guild of Black Mages in Fazar, and who are you?
And she kind of like pulls back a little because, black mages.
We have a reputation, and she's from this area.
Yeah. She's like,
So, to be fair, she probably doesn't believe she's from the area. She knows that we don't do like, oh, and we summon dragons from your butt and all those rumors.
yeah.
Right?
But she still pulls back and she says, I assume you've already read my mind.
A little bit. You were unconscious, so I couldn't ask you any questions. Your sword is apparently missing, and you were very brave in defending this town. I congratulate you.
And as you say your sword is missing, she reaches for it. And you hear her like swear, like profusely in Tulamidian.
I know a lot of Arabic swears, but I will not say them right now.
There's a lot of them. And she's saying them all. And she says, how did you end up here?
And
They come to you as well?
I also bring Garayan because Garayan's the
Yeah.
other person from our homeland, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we heard that that village you were at got attacked, and we came to rescue them, and we rescued some of them, and we made friends with Big Boy, who is not gonna hurt anyone else. And I give him a dirty look.
No one else.
Well, thank you at least for that.
I give her another bright smile.
But she's still disoriented and confused.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
because I'm
She's
good
just
looking. That's
looking
why she's
around.
disoriented.
I
know
mean,
that.
honestly,
I know
it just didn't stand a chance, you know. And she looks amongst all of you. This is strange company I find myself in.
How did you end up at the village?
I've been traveling for some time to the media all over looking for someone.
Well, I assume you haven't found them yet.
No. She gives you the no shit, Sherlock.
Like, do you know what general
Right,
area they're in?
Yeah, looking for someone who you're like.
That's the problem. I don't exactly know who.
Is it the magic snake guy?
How do you know about the snake?
We saw this. There was
This
a man who turned into snakes in the cave.
You saw a man turn into snakes?
Well, we didn't see who the person was, but then they turned into snakes. It's very mysterious, evocative, spooky almost.
That is their way. I have a history with these people, though the way they work, I'd never actually met any of them.
Oh, I pull out one of the corpses, the snake
Yeah.
that I saved,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Is this is what came out of the person? He like turned into these."
And she sort of takes the snake from you and looks at it. I know this, and hands it back.
Oh, and now I'm guessing we're because the others are here now. We're switching language to Garethi or something, right?
Yeah. She'll be speaking
Okay.
in a common tongue now.
Oh yeah, I speak very rudimentary Tulimidian, but yes.
You probably know some of the swear words, right?
Oh,
when
of
you
course.
encounter a language, the first thing you learn are the
Those
swear
swears.
words.
I've got street smarts.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
maxed it out.
You
So
gotta
know
know
a
when
lot
you're being yelled at, right?
Oh yeah. All right.
But yes, it's how they communicate. That's all I've ever communicated with.
Snakes.
Snakes.
And so they wanted a sacrifice. So we thought they wanted a sacrifice of the village, but did they want you since you're looking for them?
I don't know. Truth be told. And she sort of gestures you in. I used to be a part of them.
But you don't know anything about them?
No. That's how they operate. They keep you in the dark. You get your orders via snake. I was of the Order of the Adder. We would head out and do whatever it was required of us. But things started to get strange. Things started to change. They were asking more and more strange things. In the past, it was steal this, kill this person, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. But then they started asking for strange things, kidnapping and bringing people to places and collecting strange things I'd never heard of before or seen before. This black stone for some purpose. I'm not sure of what it is.
Hmm.
And they crossed the line when they asked for my family.
Is your family okay?
Yes.
Unless anyone else wants to speak. I'm like, well, we were going to escort these fine villagers back into the nearby town, which is like 3 days away. We recommend you come with us and take a few days to recover. But then it sounds like we might be able to help you since we are interested in finding who these are, so they can stop harassing the nearby villages.
Yeah.
I'm concerned they've made it so far out here, honestly. I thought it was only something in Tulimidia.
Then
So why were you here then, looking for them here?
Well,
what lead were you following?
I'd gotten a clue, a hint. I'd bumped into another former comrade of mine, and they told me they were heading out this way, and I played along, pretended I was still, part of the order, and they said they had a mission to accomplish here in Havana. So I headed here, and my comrade had an unfortunate accident. It's tragic.
Oh, does she do like a wink sort of unfortunate accident?
Mm-hmm.
Does my knowledge of myths and legends or spheres or history suggest anything about this?
Ooh,
Yeah, we have the
let's
Great
do
Serpent.
myths and legends.
Perfect. Oh, I'm pretty good at that. Sagacity, and int. Did that roll? Was that me?
You got a 10, a 4, and a 20.
Oh, that was me. Okay, 10, 4, 20. So 10 and 4 work. 20 works. I have enough point. Nope, I do not have enough points to lower the 20. But I'm really excited. I'm gonna burn my last fate point because this is really interesting to him as he has the curious trait, like the flaw, right? So he would absolutely burn his resources to figure out a thing that makes him curious.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't remember the name of this thing, but you remember reading in a big tome of ancient myth and arcana, in your studies.
Yeah, I remember. I'm like, oh wait, I think Professor Ahmedin was mentioning something like this once.
Yeah, there was a little side passage somewhere about an ancient belief in a great consuming snake god. They believed that the snake would basically the day-night cycle was because the snake consumed the sun every night. And they believed that this great snake would one day also consume the world.
Yeah, so I remember seeing like a motif in that passage. There's like a simple motif, so I like draw that in the dirt because I'm out of magic points. Basically, I draw that in the dirt, and I'm like, does this look familiar to you? To her? Oh, what was her name again?
Oh, Fariha.
Fariha. I'm like, Fariha, does this look familiar to you?
And she smiles and turns around, pops off the back of her armor and pulls down her thing, and it's tattooed on her back.
Oh, nice. So I say what I remember, which is not a lot because Professor Ahmedin is really attractive, and I was finding it hard to pay attention when he lectured. So I'm like, well, but I don't tell that to my friends. I'm like, oh yes, there isn't a lot known about them at all. Like we don't know about them at all, but like this is what I know.
And she there's almost a pride still in this tattoo, even though she has left this order, and clearly has done so not officially. She's gone rogue, as it were. She's still kind of like, she did some shit she's still proud of whilst bearing this mark. But she basically confirms, like, again, she doesn't even know the name of this deity. She just knows that this was her employment. This was the group that she was in. Hers was the Order of the Adder, and that's all she knows.
Okay.
So were they like a mercenary company that acted for them, or like just a kept in the dark, like fanatics or acolytes or something? Like,
she says basically a bit of both.
Okay.
I was in it for the money, for the employment, for the adventure. Others in it for more, fanatical reasons. I never really bought into that whole snake thing, but when you start talking to snakes and they talk back, part of you believes it.
Sure.
Can I say I love this hijab wearing warrior woman with snake tattoo? That's like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew a lot of friends who were in that kind of business, but I just wasn't for me. So,
My brother was a baker. That wasn't for me.
I'm like,
so quickly, Tariq, did you tell us about the sword and who you saw?
oh yeah, I would have told you. I'm very trusting, especially of Gorion, right?
Sure.
So because in my philosophy, I can find out pretty easily if someone's untrustworthy, right?
Sure.
I just read their mind.
I was gonna say, I'd like to think Gorion is just like, I don't care, just whatever you want. It's right.
Yeah,
It's right
yeah.
up here. It's easier than talking.
So I'm very trustworthy. I trust people a lot. So yeah, I would have told you that, and I just told you all about this this
Gotcha.
thing. So I'm like, so we should say, do you know who might have been interested in taking your sword?
Yeah, who would have done that?
I don't know.
Pale.
I don't know, but that sword is meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean,
That sword was special, and she
and-
says special in a way as in like that sword had some shit. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
okay.
So it was clearly not one of the Tulamidia because we're not very pale people. It was not these villagers, so it's someone else who took the sword. So maybe if we find it, we can try helping you find it. If you help us help you find the snake people.
I mean, clearly this thing, and she like points at Barthak. Clearly, this thing was working for someone else.
Yeah.
And I turned to 2 and I'm like, he doesn't know anything though, does he?
Snake man. Man turned into snakes. That's who he was.
We learned that he isn't very smart.
Yeah.
And I thumb at Big Boy.
Maybe in Havana there'll be someone.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
should
that's
we
the
should
city,
take these
right?
villagers back. Yeah.
And the cow.
Bessie, oh, can we milk Bessie? I used to be a farmer.
Sure.
It's
She
morning, right? Can
probably
I
needs
milk?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you can milk Bessie.
I
She's
milk
rich.
Bessie and I give some to Ortlieb to make his famous cheeses.
I can make yogurt on the road. There you go.
Skyr. I love it. You can make skyr. And I offer
Snake
some milk.
man- Did the strange snake man leave any tracks before we bounce?
No,
Like,
it was like he just floated in.
Interesting. I offer some milk to Barthak, and I'm like, "Don't eat people."
Yeah. Don't eat people again.
Many people.
yeah, no, like two reiterates to Barthak, thanks for reminding me of the name, that he's now the protector of this land, and if he's not, Turangi Takaya will come back and sort him out, because
No.
that's how it works.
I do penalty. However, if a cow that strays away from the village borders or other large fleshy animal, you can eat that. Just don't eat people.
And he says, "I won't, because Turangi is my friend, and he said that I have to protect this village, and the village includes the cows, so I'll bring them back."
I'm so happy this happened, you guys.
Very good.
Yeah. Turangi's not so sure about the friendship bit, but yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, so Barthak is he's ready to take on his new role as ranger of this village to protect it.
Nice.
And
Very
he
good.
escorts you out of the swampy zone with the villagers.
Oh, and he knows the swamp well, of course, right?
And he's still like, he sees the dead goblin outside and it upsets him a little bit. And he's like, "Can I have more goblins as pets, or are they not? Am I not allowed to have them
You
anymore?"
can gather all the goblins you want.
Well, there's one that ran away, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah, just tell him the same thing. If he's your pet, he is also part of the protectorate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're all kaitiaki of this land, and if we hear otherwise, then two will be very, very wroth indeed.
I don't want that.
I love how I imagine you're saying I'd be very wroth, and he's like, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means, but it sounds bad.
Angry, fucking angry.
Okay.
My
so
favorite
you-
part was I don't know what a snake is.
I don't know what a snake is.
So you successfully intimidated an ogre into a life of not crime, and you make your way back to the city of Havana. There are a couple of nights where you have to camp for the night. It's not too bad, so it gives you a chance to recover some AE, Sharang, if you want to.
Yes, thank you. I'll get some more.
Maybe a chance for Ortlieb to bust out another one of his beautiful, beautiful songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
He will attempt to do songs to heal the souls of these traumatized villagers as he can. I will do so.
Oh my god, you guys, I just realized in this system, magic is very expensive and very slow to recover.
Yeah.
I took a feat to make it recover faster, but it's like 1 bonus point every session. So I have 10 points. That's 1 spell I can do, you guys.
Man.
So I have to recalibrate my I'm not like a D&D sorcerer. I am a dark eye black mage and I can do very limited magic or burn it all up.
So I think the smoke of all those fires kind of fried Ortlieb's vocal cords because he's having an off day with singing.
Okay, so he goes
Try.
for Alfie Bow, right? He goes for Les Mis in Broadway, but actually we get Tom Waits instead.
Yeah, sure.
And his little throat is too rough. It's pleasant enough, but it's not the healing, soothing balm that these villagers need to, really.
Oh, when they hear the real thing, though, like that last time, oh my god, they're gonna. Oh, I offer the villagers some perfume.
The villagers are like, what do I want this for?
And I'm like, to smell nice.
What about?
And I look really shocked, as though, why would you ask such a weird question?
So
It's
Tawarangi's got natural orator. So when I heard that Ortlieb singing didn't work out, I was like, I'm gonna tell a story, and I rolled and I butchered it. So
Nice.
the story it starts off sounding cool, and then it just fizzles. There's no
Love it.
resolution.
Oh.
It goes nowhere.
We're bad entertainers. We're better
Yeah.
fighters.
Tell you, I'll do them a solid. I'm gonna give them tips for places where they can maybe find some jobs in the city if they need to, and maybe I just have a recruitment agreement with those people.
Oh, yeah, you're a merchant. Nice.
Maybe I do. They always need
Um,
somebody.
Do any of them want to gamble and have some hard liquor?
Hell yeah. There's a couple of carouses, but a couple of rebel rouses.
That's what grind's good for.
Let's do it.
Nice. Okay, so we do entertain them finally.
Yeah,
We've
if
been
they're
gambling with them.
After the attempts to lift their spirits, I'm just like, listen, here's the liquor, here are the cards.
We suck at this. Get
Yeah,
drunk.
art failed, so we just do some basic
Yep.
gambling and drinking.
All right, let's have a gambling roll from you, Jim.
All right, let's see what we got. This is actually my highest skill.
Whoa!
Love
yeah. Let's see, where is it at? Gambling. Well, carouse and gambling are the same, so that's. But unfortunately, it relies on 2 sagacity and 1 intuition. So we'll see. My highest and lowest stats.
Oh, interesting.
Very good. Very good. All right. Okay, so I got a 5, a 13, and a 2. The 13 is going to need to come down to, I'm going to spend 4 to bring it down to a 9, and then that leaves me with 6, which is QL2.
Dang. Okay. So these villages have lost everything as their houses have burnt down.
We're playing for
But-
like rocks or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like rocks and
I'll
sticks
front
and
them some
stuff.
money.
Yeah. But you front them money, then you just take it all back.
See, this is all a master stroke of strategy. By the time we're done, they're going to be fucking grateful to get away from their cave, get away from the ogre, get away from the terrible singing, the shit stories, and the poker shark. By the time they get to the town, they're going to be like, this new life don't seem so bad. Here we
Doesn't
are.
seem so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, here we are. We're sorted.
You'll
All
never
part of our
people can
master
rescue
plan.
this.
You'll never have to deal with clingy NPCs because they'll be like, thanks, bye.
Thanks,
And you'll
yeah,
never
they'll
see them again.
Later. Out.
So you bring these poor people to the city, and you're greeted at the tavern again where you had stayed before, and the tavern keeper's like, don't worry, I know someone I can get in touch with. We can help get these people housed and looked after for a bit. Like, I got this bit covered. You don't have to worry about that bit.
Oh, and we reintroduced him to Gemma, who hopefully has not exploded.
Hopefully.
Well, you don't see her at all. She's not there in the tavern.
What?
I asked the innkeeper, where did Gemma go?
And the innkeeper says, oh, she was in her room last night. last I saw. She was in your room, actually. I didn't hear anything explode, so I assume she didn't touch anything.
I checked the room to make sure nothing's missing.
So you go up to the room, and in the middle of the bed, there is a letter wrapped in a black snakeskin.
I call Fariha and the others, not the villagers. I don't want them to see all this.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Fariha is with you. Yeah.
And then I like open it.
And it has your full name and title at the top, Tariq.
Oh, my title is very long because at the guild you like accrue. I'm not a noble, but at the guild you accrue titles. Yeah.
They have your title, your full title, which I don't believe you've actually fully told anyone what that
because
is.
it's really long and yeah.
And that takes up most of the letter, honestly. Your title.
It's like of the order of, and the department of, in the weather, at the holy order of. Yeah.
And then it just says 3 words: seek the snake.
I turn and show everyone. And what language is it written in?
It is written in Tulimidian.
Okay, so I show it to Garayat, and then I show it to Fariha, and I point to them, and I'm like, it says seek the snake. And it goes into all my honorifics, which, how did they know all of my... I have a lot of minors, so she included all of them. Like my Ignifaxis spell is a minor. It's not my major. Yeah, which is actually true because not part of my standard spell list.
Could they be an offshoot of the Black Mages Guild?
Of the guild? I mean, the Black Mage Guild is not just in Thazar, right? It's just the most well-known chapter. There are Black Mage Guilds elsewhere. It could be another Black Mage Guild. I turn to Fariha, and I'm like, is this order a mage guild?
Maybe. It certainly seems they're interested in you, though.
I mean, a lot of people are interested in me. Speaking of which, I should see the blacksmith tonight. But that's neither here nor there yet. Okay, this is a little frightening, I will confess.
Yeah. How do you know the blacksmith isn't in on it?
I will find out tonight.
Very good. Very good.
I know a lot about you, man. You know, he's the last person to get you alone.
That's true. I didn't tell him a lot. We didn't do a lot of talking, honestly. He couldn't. He was unable to do any talking. But I will ask him.
Didn't leave your wallet lying around unattended or anything?
No.
I mean, he was in no physical position to hold anything. I'm blushing a bit because I've decided that Tariq is actually a very blushy person when talking about this. He's like one of the people who's like really into that kind of stuff, but is very blushy about it. I don't think it was him, but I will find out tonight. I will make sure he is in a more speech-worthy position.
Yeah.
Who would ask our new friend did she ever have a way to get in touch with the snake when she wanted to, or was it solely they spoke to you when they needed you sort of thing?
They always came to me, honestly. Which was very inconvenient at times because I very much did need to speak to them.
And thus far, how have you been seeking them? Or have you just been wandering around randomly waiting to bump into people you knew?
Well, it started in Tulimidia where I bumped into that comrade of mine who said he was headed out here. That's why I came out here. Gotcha. And I've literally just been traveling since. I've not long really been gone from Tulimidia.
So we kind of just have to wander around hoping to bump in or ask around in the city.
And was there anything special about your sword? We know there's someone who doesn't look like anyone here took your sword. We know that their village was told to be attacked, that you happened to be in it. Do we think maybe they were going for your sword? Why are they coming after us? Maybe this whole thing was a ruse to get us involved. Two's going full conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like Pepe Sylvia red string board in the background.
I mean, to be fair,
he's looking for fucking cell towers to burn down. He's good to go.
Yeah. I mean, 5G. It's not that wild. Although, why would they have found our inn and addressed a letter incredibly formally to me personally? Like
she looks at you, Tariq,
all the way here from Tulimidia,
and she says, "Did you give them your name?" When the
I
when
mean,
the snake arrived at
I'm
the
a,
cave, did you
I'm
give
a,
them your name?
I'm a black mage. I didn't give my full title. I gave them my name.
Then that's how they found you.
Oh, fascinating and also frightening.
Very frightening. As for my sword, it was given to me by the Order of the Adder.
So they might want it back.
Certain properties which I'm sure they would not like to fall into the hands of other people.
Okay. Well, we need to since you have no leads, I turn to the other. I'm like, should we spend some time in the city, asking around, snooping around? Ortlieb, you have a lot of contacts. I can make contacts pretty easily.
Yeah. So Havina is supposed to be like it's like a port city, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably like a bunch of smugglers and disreputable types. It's probably got like an underworld, like I don't know. Ortlieb, if you want somebody to watch your back, we can go beat the streets.
Yes, that I would appreciate that. I can hang for myself, but I mostly tend towards the more legal side of things. So
I don't know that kidnapping and illicit snake cults are legal.
no, I
Probably
sure
gonna have
hope
to-
not.
Yeah.
I wanna talk with the local blacksmithing scene and other strapping young men professions. Yeah. Can we later? It doesn't have to be in this session. Can we later do a scene with my blacksmith? I really want to talk to him.
I will give you a scene with your blacksmith later.
Okay. Thanks.
So you basically have this letter and Gemma is nowhere to be found.
Oh, right. That's another thing. She might have not actually been Gemma.
Sure.
Or Gemma was part
true.
of it or something.
She
Okay.
could have been a.
I mean,
she
like,
could have
think
set us
about
up.
it. You're in crisis. There's an emergency. Would you go 3 days to get help, or would you go to the next village?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And when you finally arrive in this town full of people to get help, you don't go to the guard. You don't go. You go to the group.
a
of
random
strangers.
inn.
Yes.
Random inn.
Yeah.
Now that you
It's
put
not a
it
random,
that
but it's
way,
not a
too,
random inn. It's the inn we were at.
right?
Yes.
Now that you put it that way, too, we should have seen this earlier. Wow, I think Professor Ahmadine would probably, make me forget some of my childhood memories for this.
That's a punishment? Jesus.
Really?
Tariq.
Yeah,
That's awful.
I'm gonna say for if they really annoyed at you, they remove some of your happy memories for a year, and then they'll give it back maybe. But as one of the punishments, they do that to you.
Oh.
I still don't remember my first kiss.
Oh.
I know I had many since then, but I can't remember my first one.
Okay.
Glad we got out of there.
I'm a black mage.
So, what would you folks like to do? We are coming to the end of our time, so this is more maybe preparation for what you want to do
Yeah.
next session. If we just talk that through now, and then we can get it sorted
Certainly,
it's smooth.
I want Ortlieb to have like a Law and Order style, like I'm on the street and talking to people. Like,
Putting your foot up on stuff, talking to people.
putting my foot up on stuff, taking some notes.
Mhm.
I can be the good cop to Gorian's bad cop if we want. And hopefully it'll feature like a celebrity before they're famous.
Certainly.
I'm
I've
not
got some social
necessarily-
skills.
I'm
He's
glad you
good at
do.
empathy. He's good at empathy and seduction. That's kind of it.
Oh, both of us are good at seduction. Maybe it's our homeland. We're all just really good at seducing.
I mean, I think Gorian, he's like totally not jealous of Tariq's good looks because I mean, like, who in the world could compare themselves to someone like Tariq? Like, Gorian has to make up for it with skill, with his words. Tariq is just gifted.
You guys know just the way to make Sharung happy. Praise him through his character.
All right, so we're gonna have like a Law and Order-esque
Yeah.
investigation
Mhm.
Yeah, with Ortlieb and Gorion. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Ortlieb and Gorion. Okay.
I wanna actually, yeah, I'll talk to the blacksmith because he's,
Mhm.
blue collar person. Because Tariq is not a blue collar person; he's a mage, right? And
Yeah.
he's gonna ask like, "Hey, have you heard of this?" Like something like that. He also has a decent skill in streetwise seduction and empathy, so he's like going the social angle as well.
Mhm. I did literally write in my notes, blacksmith chat winky face, because we all know how it's gonna end.
Yep,
So let's not even
chat.
Mhm.
chat.
Mhm.
So Liam, what do you think 2 will be doing as part of
Yeah, outside of his comfort zone in this one. Completely. He's got some minor social skills, but sort of sneaking around and scaring people and fighting them is sort of what he does. And saying that, actually, yeah, like I guess 2 will just sort of take a back seat. If there's anyone that we need to go like next level scary on, he can do.
Mhm.
But also, his perception is fucking amazing. It's his best stat. So
Maybe he can be sleuthing and looking for like
Yeah,
that
be fine.
symbol.
we need to find something that he can sneak. Oh, let's go around. Yeah, there you go. Go around looking for anything that looks snake-like. This be
Yeah.
sneaky beaky. He will stand out in the city because he's covered in tattoos and he doesn't look normal, but he'll be looking and
Cool.
looking for people following him too, and then scare the fuck out of them.
Oh, that's a good idea because they
The whole
might be
thing.
keeping an eye on us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Fucking
I guess you guys are doing the main investigation. I'm hanging back looking for people watching you. There we go.
You're doing like the espionage
Very
shit.
good.
You're doing
Yeah,
like
yeah. You're stealthy.
yeah.
Counter
Yeah,
espionage.
Yeah.
Nice.
that's what
All
we'll do.
right. Well, that gives me some good stuff to prep for then for next session, which will be really cool. We're gonna have like a little city investigation, which will be rad. But until next time, I just want to thank you all for joining us once more for WebDM Plays The Dark Eye Adventures in Aventuria. And where can we find you on the internet? I'm going to go around clockwise from my face. Liam.
Oh, all over the show. Actually, hold on. No, go to my website, toatabletop.com, where I have everything I'm involved in there, as well as look up my podcast, Mud and Blood, a podcast dark and grim, where we discuss various dark and gritty games and things like that. And yeah, maybe come join our community, have a chat. It's good fun.
Sweet. Thank you very much, Liam. Emma, where can we find you on the internet?
Hi, I am Emma. I am, at the time that this airs, I will officially be the CEO of WebDM. Ooh. And so you can find me at WebDM. You've already done it. Congratulations. You've done it. You're here. Thank you for checking us out. We do things on YouTube and Patreon and Twitch and also podcasts in the world. So yeah, you know who we are. Thank you for being with us.
Sharon.
So I'm Sharung Biswas. You can find me on Twitter under Sharung Biswas, the full spelling of my name. And I want to give a quick shout out to 2 things. First, the anthology we published through Pelgrane Press, Honey and Hot Wax, an anthology of erotic art games, just got nominated for an Indiecade Award. This is my 2nd nomination and hopefully 2nd win. So do check that out through Pelgrane Press. Pelgrane has done a lot of good things with WebDM as well. So they do a lot of cool stuff. So check that out. And more current is that the spiritual successor of that book is Strange Lust, Strange Loves, an anthology of erotic interactive fiction. The preview of that Kickstarter is currently up. You can find that through my Twitter. Do sign up you sign up to just get a notification. That does help our algorithm and things like that. Even if you never want to, back the project, though I encourage you to consider it. Do sign up, check it out. It's gonna be awesome. We have some World Fantasy Award-winning authors and really famous game designers contributing interactive fiction about sex and sexuality. So do check that out. And we have some amazing art by Amy Kai and Jabari Weathers as well. So,
Rad. Thank you very much. And Jim.
And following that up, so yes, I am WebDM Jim. You can see me over on our YouTube channel talking about Dungeons and Dragons and all kinds of tabletop RPGs. I'm on Twitter. I'm on our other places. Everything that Emma said, you can probably find my face. yammering and on about it. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Thank you very much. As for me, I am Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer. I do video games, I do art streams, I do tabletop RPGs. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace, and that is Susanna with one N. Otherwise, a sweet American lady gets very confused. I am also the media and marketing coordinator of Black Cats Gaming, who are just publishing the Spy Game, which is our 5e powered game of international espionage and action. So please do check that out. But until next time, please do tune in next week for our next session of WebDM Plays the Dark Eye Adventures in Aventuria.
Woo!
Woo!